to bring on our very special guest speaker today. Gat, you have the floor.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Gat Slor with LegalShield, and I also teach Hebrew lessons. That's just something I do on the side for fun because I'm from Israel. And that was my first language. So guess what one of my challenges is in business? Number one, being on time. Shocking but true. The second one is being organized. I have a busy life. I tend to throw stuff in the car. Like I'm getting ready for Christmas, I'll just throw a bunch of stuff in the car. And I have a bunch of stuff in my bag and I have a bunch of stuff in my purse. And every once in a while my purse gets so full, it's like, okay, let's just purge everything out. But I don't, when you talk about system, I don't need like an automated system, but I just would like to have a system where I'm filing stuff, where it's easy. Okay, this brochure goes here, this goes here. And just set it up so like my car isn't a mess and I don't feel like I'm like frantic all the time. That's what I do.
Assistant?
Yeah, assistant? No, I mean,
Yeah.
no, I think I'm going to be hiring Ruby. You know, she's from Sacramento. I'm going to bring her up to, it's not like I need like an assistant all the time, but I need someone to help me get into order. And once I have a system, I usually am good at keeping it. I just need someone to help me get there. So that's what I'm working on. So anyway, thank you for having me. I'm very honored to, I love the GNA. I loved it from day one. I think, I don't know, my first meeting was last year in October, I think. It was right here in this room. It was a small meeting. It's bigger than this, but small. And I think Debbie was speaking. I got here late. It's just a drive and getting it all together to get from Sonora to here is a challenge. But I made it and I brought two friends who'd never been here before. All three of us were new. And I really liked it from the beginning. I just like that people are friendly, people are positive, but people are real, right? So that's what I like. Because there's a lot of, Kelly and I had a one-on-one a while back and we talked about how there's like these groups that are stuffy. And this is the non-stuffy. And I like that we can just be friends. You know, not everyone's going to love each other equally, but it feels like there's a general camaraderie. People really care about each other. And it's good to have, as entrepreneurs, I think a lot of times we can get isolated, right? Get isolated at our own home office, whatever it is. And we need to be in touch with each other. But I don't know about you all, I don't need like stuffy, impersonal people. That doesn't help me. That makes me feel discouraged. I've been to some of those and I come home feeling worse than when I left. We need a positive environment, people that really root for us. So that's what I found here at GNA, and I hope that that's what you found. And we're growing, and I want to help. I want to do my part to help grow GNA, whether it's here or anywhere else. So today I'm going to talk to you about identity theft. And when Elias interviewed me, I was talking about it's actually kind of a depressing topic. It's not like a fun. You know, it's not fun. It's fun in the movies. Who saw the movie Identity Theft? Did you see that movie? There's a movie that came out last year. It's really upsetting at the beginning when this guy gets his identity stolen, and later on it becomes humorous. But I think the humorous part is what they had to put in there to make it bearable.
That's one with the comedian guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious. You gotta watch it.
It was the lady too?
Yeah.
It was a
yeah.
lady.
I watched that.
Yeah.
I did watch
So
that.
that was funny, but I think they had to make it funny so that it wouldn't be depressing. Because in real life, I don't think any of us would be really amused by having our identity stolen. It's not a fun situation. So I don't want to like depress anybody. But and I never would present something if there wasn't a solution or there wasn't something that could be done. But I have to say, a lot of people think, or some people think or claim that you can prevent identity theft. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, do you think you can prevent theft of any kind?
Negative.
You can't. Just like, it's just going to happen that some people are going to steal stuff, whether it's their identity or whether it's anything else, right?
That's why you have insurance, right, Gat?
Exactly. That's why you have insurance. For things, if something gets stolen in your home or your car gets stolen or anything else, you have to put safeguards in place. That's why they have guards at the armored cars and guards at the bank and stuff like that, okay? So similarly, I mean, identity theft is relatively new, and it only came up in a serious way in the last like 20, 30 years, I think. Much, more so than it has been. People, 10, 20 years ago, you'd ask them, they're like, what's that? And I think a lot of it has to do with the electronic age. A lot of things are happening online, right? So our identity, a lot of people say I shred. Who shreds? We all shred? Yeah, we all shred.
As soon as I find my
And that's
shredder
good.
again, yes.
There you go. Okay,
Magic
good.
scissors.
Right, right. So we shred, and that's good. That's important. Okay. But people think I shred. I have another friend, a woman of mine. I was sharing with her about identity theft protection. And she's like, I shred, and I don't even. She doesn't even have. She doesn't even go online. She doesn't have a computer. She doesn't do any of that. I said, okay, fine, no problem. She got a letter from Wells Fargo saying that, and she has some investments that it's not even Wells Fargo, but like another office that is an offshoot of Wells Fargo. That office got broken into, and her files were there. And they have to tell you that, like, oops, sorry, we lost. I don't know if any of y'all got that letter. Every once in a while, like, veterans got hacked. And I mean, Target, big companies all the time get hacked. You get that letter saying, oops. At Stanford, I think, a little while ago, they had laptops that got hacked.
Neiman Marcus.
Neiman Marcus,
eBay.
tens of thousands of, and do you think the police, the authorities can even like deal with that? Right? They can barely deal with just like common stuff that happens every day, let alone every day. What if it's actually Target? They had that big. They actually hired a company that LegalShield works with to trace it, and they traced it to this old guy in Russia, right? Imagine like trying to tell the local police in Tracy, my Target card got hacked. What is that going to do, right? So a lot of times, even if the authorities want to help us, but they have no way of doing it. So anyway, I'm not here to impress you, but they're just like, there are, the ramifications of identity theft is massive. So what do most people think about when they think about identity theft? What's the number one issue that comes to your mind?
Credit card.
Credit card, right? Credit card. But the reality is, it's very interesting, a lot of people don't know this. Credit card, the company we work with, Kroll, did research, it's only 17%. 17% of identity theft is credit card. And it's actually the easiest one to deal with. Because if someone's in another state or starts using your card and you call your bank, usually they'll just take care of it. Because they know what's going on. They'll put a stop to it, they send you another card, that kind of thing. That's the easiest form of identity. And there are companies out there that can help you with identity theft. Actually, most banks will either for free or they charge you. Don't let them charge you for that because it's their job to protect your money. So they shouldn't have to charge you to protect your money, right? But so there are a lot of companies out there that will protect your financial identity. But your financial identity is actually the easiest thing to restore, right? What about other forms of identity? Does anybody know?
Social Security theft?
Social Security, yes. Social Security, right. So I'll just give you a story. In Dublin, this young woman a few years ago went to get a job at Target, happened to be Target. And they said, you already work here. As a matter of fact, 18 other people in different states that she'd never been to were working under her one Social Security number. Wow. And you think, well, that's amusing. Okay, that's very nice. Except at the end of the year, she got a tax bill from the IRS. That was like $1 million in taxes that she owed, that it wasn't even hers. Do you think the IRS knew how to deal with that? It's like, so it was insane. So, and then do you think it's easy to change your Social Security number and say, oh, you know what, never mind, I want to get a different one. So they couldn't sort it out. They said, okay, you have two options. You either pay the $1 million, sure, we have a big bank account set up just to pay for identity theft, right? Or we'll give you, they did issue her a different Social Security number, but she lost all her benefits. She had to start from scratch. So to me, I don't know, either way it sucks, So Social Security is a big issue. It's bigger now. And I'm an immigrant myself. I'm a legal immigrant, but I'm not even judgmental about the immigrants that are coming here. They're trying to work, they're trying to make a living. In Mexico they make $1 an hour or less. I don't know what it is. So I'm not even judgmental about that, but the reality is a lot of them are working under somebody else's Social Security number. They're just trying to survive. They don't even mean harm, but the reality is it does harm. So what other forms of identity theft does anybody know?
There's something that has to do with people can steal personal information as long as they have your name and address. But I don't know. Driver's license?
Is driver's license identity theft, right? Medical identity theft, that's actually one of the biggest forms of identity theft. That is really scary. And there's criminal identity theft. So criminals are not stupid. They're not going to use, they're going to commit crimes, they won't use their own identity, they'll use somebody else's. They can pose as someone else, and it can be along with driver's license. So let's say they committed a crime and they, on the black market, even at flea markets, or certainly on the internet, people can get each other's, identity. They even call this synthetic identity theft, where they have let's say they'll have Clyde's photo, they'll have your address, they'll have your name, they'll have your social, they mix it all up. It's bizarre. Trying to sort that out is insane, right? But the point is, here's an example too, this guy from PCB Magazine who was driving up Highway 101 in Humboldt County a few years ago, and he got pulled over for a taillight, just a little taillight infraction, right? Well, they hauled him off to jail for the weekend because another criminal committed a crime in his name. He says, officer, it wasn't me. Well, how many times did the officer hear it wasn't me? And he just got hauled off to jail. And then he had to, it's like you're guilty until proven innocent. Yes, that's my name. Yes, that's my social. Yes, that's my driver's license. But no, that's not me. So that's a big issue that's come up in the last year. That a lot, and unfortunately nobody's immune. Whether you can shred, even just like my friend Dorothy, who didn't use the internet, your information is already out there. If you've ever applied for a job and the company went out of business or not, what did they do with your job application? What did they do with your information? It could be in a file somewhere. A lot of people think that identity thieves are going into mailboxes or garbage cans. Well, they're breaking into chiropractors' offices. They're breaking into DMVs. And they have tons of thousands of data there, right? So our information is already out there. If you were born, right, all of us here have been born at some point, you're vulnerable, unfortunately. So I'm just saying, it's not to try to scare you, but the reality is, it's just a growing issue. So I have a fun little questionnaire here. And because I don't want to do all the talking, I want to share with you all. I want each of you to have a question. Who here is tech savvy or relatively tech savvy? You are tech savvy. So I'm going to give you the techie question. Okay. All right. So each of you is going to get a question. You're going to stand up and ask everybody else the question, and the answer is going to be on the back. So keep the answer to yourself. So let's see how we all do. I mean, I don't feel bad if you don't know the answer to all these. It's okay. But just see if we can educate ourselves. All right. You did this bill, so this is yours.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I'm gonna do one more. Get one more. All right. So don't show the answer with everyone else, obviously. Okay. So who has number one? Just stand up, read the question, keep the answer to yourself, and let's see what you have.
Okay. Question 1. How much financial loss is due to personal identity theft every year? Yeah. Option A would be 5 million, B 200 million, C 4.2 billion, or D 24.7 billion.
C.
Elias?
I didn't hear the whole thing
Okay, it's okay.
because of my hearing situation
It's
for
okay.
tonight. But can I, actually the answers are on the back. Can I look at that real quick in front? The answer is on the back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right here.
the
Okay.
friend's here.
It's D.
I would say 4.2 billion.
Okay, so everyone said C except for Bill. Well, Bill's right. The Bureau of Justice Statistics found that the financial losses due to personal identity theft totaled $24.7 billion
Wow.
in
Oh, gosh.
2012. That's 2 years ago.
Boy, I was off by a little bit.
All right. Okay. Okay. You got number 2.
Number 2?
Number 2. How many people fall victim to identity theft every year? First option, 10,000. Second option, 100,000. Third option, 1 million.
How many people? Well,
What was your option?
It's 10.
1 million.
1 million, 10 million is the last one. I'd say 10 million.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. It has to be at least 10 billion.
There's 322 million people in the United States.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so 10 million.
identity
10
that's
million.
huge.
So yeah, probably 10 million.
The number of annual identity theft victims is well above 10 million. In 2014, 13 million individuals experienced some sort of identity theft. In 2012, it was as high as 16 million.
Wow.
Alright, number 3. What state has the highest percentage of ID theft complaints? Texas, Florida, California, New York, Rhode Island.
My first
You already
thought-
know it.
It's one of the ones I got wrong.
My first thought would be New York, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling that is wrong. I would say Florida.
That's what I was going to say. Florida.
What was the question?
state.
What state has the highest percentage of ID theft complaints?
Florida, California, New York.
Yeah, Texas, Florida,
Texas.
California, New York, and Rhode Island.
This is ideal.
I think it's a mile long.
What state has the highest
Yeah.
Percentage of ID theft complaints.
complaint? Are there choices or just a guess?
Yeah, choice.
Texas, Florida, California, New York, or Rhode Island.
I have to guess New York. They're the only state that's pretty much worse than we are.
I was thinking California was one.
The answer is number 3, Florida experienced the highest per capita complaints for identity theft in 2013 at 0.1%. California had the highest total number of complaints at 40,000.
And these are just the ones that were reported, right? So why do you think Florida, like, does anybody know? Because they're always
It's
hard.
yeah, it's a huge retirement community. So you've got all these people retiring to Florida, and as they get older in age, and they forget stuff, and they're not shredding, and they're not doing this and that, and next thing you know,
Well, Florida's kind of like a Miami community, you know what I mean? It's like, the community has such diversity overall, and it's more of a, I don't know.
They got money. What are you gonna, you steal identity, you wanna
Well,
go,
it's
they
a
got money,
party,
right?
it's a party
I'm
place,
just saying,
you
but
know what I
then people
mean?
retire, they got money, that's why they
That's
live
true.
there.
Very true.
Okay, question number 4. Of all consumer complaints reported to the Federal Trade Commission for 2013, what percentage was identity theft? Option 1 is 4%, 2 is 14%, 3 is 34%, and number 4 is 54%. C? Okay.
What was the number 2?
14%.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Okay.
You said identity theft, correct?
Correct. Reported to the Federal Trade Commission.
Reporting.
oh, whoa, reported?
Yeah.
Let me go back up. What was one of 454?
You got 4, 14, 34, and 54.
You know, they said
Okay. All right, so it is 14%,
Oh.
and a total of 290,056 complaints were filed with the Federal Trade Commission in 2013 regarding identity theft, making it the #1 consumer complaint in 2013. And debt consolidation was a close second at 10%. Debt consolidation companies are not very fun people to work with as well.
That's great, thank you. All right, so next, what's the number was that?
That was 4.
Oh, right.
Number 5. All right.
Which of these methods are not used by identity thieves to gain access to passwords and other personal information? A. Cloned website. B. Keyloggers. 3. DDoS attacks. 4. Rummaging through your trash. And 5. Skimming devices.
Wow. That's a hard question.
I had to know what it was, I guess.
What did you say?
I said DDoS.
Okay. Do I need to repeat it? Which of these methods are not used by identity thieves to gain access to passwords and other personal information? Cloned websites, keyloggers, DDoS attacks, rummaging through your trash, and skimming devices.
I'm gonna say rummaging through your trash. Huh?
That would be my second guess.
All right. And you're correct. DDoS. Direct denial of service attacks. DDoS attacks are not used to steal information. They are attacks that crash web servers. Identity thieves attempt to access your information by creating fake websites, keylogging programs designed to capture your keystrokes, digging through your trash, and skimming devices used to steal payment card data.
All right. Okay. Who's next? Nice Melas.
You got number 6, Elias?
Number 6.
All right.
Yep, I'm coming.
All right.
Okay, this is a good one. You gave me a really, I actually I've never fallen for this, but I've seen this trick being pulled for the last 20, 25 years.
Okay.
What is phishing? And we're not talking about how you do it out there. Someone creates an official form of government ID in your name. When thieves look through your garbage in hopes to find personal information. That's good. A scam designed to trick a person into divulging personal information, or your identity is stolen while at a concert or sporting event. Now, this came from the book, right? Okay.
Not a book. Well, someone put it together.
That's good. This is good stuff, though. Okay, what do you think it is?
Fishing.
C.
C? What do you think it is? B? Okay.
It was the,
Someone creates an official form of government ID in your name. When thieves look through your garbage in hopes to find personal information, a scam designed to trick a person into divulging personal information.
that one.
C. Okay. C. You and I have been on the internet for like a long time. We gave it away. C. The answer is C. A scam designed to trick a person into divulging personal information. I've seen this happen since the internet came out, over 25 years ago. They have like a bank page with, similar like Bank of America, and the trick that I found to look out, but you cannot always stop it, is look at the email address. Because a lot of times the email will say, love customer service at bank.ofamerica.com or something like that, to try to make it appear like it's a real URL, but it's not. So, but you can't stop it all. So, thank you.
I had one come through my email the other day with a DOD website name, government.government. And it was like, well, this is really obviously false. They were like, oh, you need to do this mandatory training. Click on this link. It's sent by the government. And I'm like, well, first of all, it's sent on Saturday evening. Okay, that's really obviously not going to be true. But true, the second thing is it came to my Lockheed email, not my government email. Because I have a government computer. Any training that's from the United States. It was like, okay, great.
All right, number 7.
7. If you are the victim of identity theft, one of the first things that you should do is call a credit reporting agency and place a blank. 1, identity theft notification. 2, a fraud alert. 3, heads up. 4, stolen identity alert.
I'd say the first.
Identity theft notification?
Yes.
Okay. Elias?
These rules are great.
Yeah, give them a call.
As long as I'm coming to here. I can't hear.
Okay.
We need one like things across the screen. What do you think?
Fraud alert.
Okay.
I'm probably going wrong.
One of the first things that you should do is discover your identity theft is stolen or fear it's a risk is to place an initial fraud alert. Well done to everybody. With one of the 3 major credit reporting agencies, initial fraud alert is free and makes it difficult for identity thieves to open more accounts in your name.
I should know because I just went to that last year.
Okay.
And I know who did it.
7?
Yeah.
Now 8.
On 8.
Number 8. This is a follow-up kind of to the last question.
Okay, this is a true or false. Alright? Putting a credit freeze on your credit file will prevent further damage from identity theft. True or false?
False.
You're probably from accessing your credit card.
The FTC notes that while a credit freeze may be effective at preventing the establishment of new accounts, it will not stop misuse of your existing account or some other types of identity. Take that as a false.
Thank you. Okay, we have next one.
Yep. So number 9 is, what is the most common form of identity theft in 2013? Government documents and benefit frauds, credit card fraud, utilities fraud, bank fraud, unemployment-related fraud, and loan fraud.
The number 1.
2013.
Yeah, 13.
That's last year.
The experience, I'm gonna say unemployment. You know, a lot of people lost a job in
What was the most common form of identity theft in 2013?
So is it employment
Government
fraud?
documents, benefits is one, credit card fraud, utilities fraud, bank fraud, unemployment-related, or loan fraud.
I'm saying utilities.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
And the answer is FTC found that 34% of identity theft was the government documents and benefits fraud. Credit card fraud was a close second at 17%.
Wow. And by the way, I think that includes IRS, like, like tax return, tax refunds, that kind of thing. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That was easy.
If you don't know all 3 of those,
You don't know that.
The answer
You're
is
in trouble.
United States.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, everyone. Thanks for participating. This is great. So, I mean, the purpose, my purpose really is just to bring more awareness. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you know about identity theft. I think very few of us know the scope of it. It's just huge, and it really affects all of us. And if it hasn't affected us yet, unfortunately, it probably will at some point. The one we didn't touch on too much is the medical identity theft. That is actually one of the fastest growing forms of identity theft. And I'll give you an example. One woman, she went to Taco Bell with a bunch of kids that were playing soccer or something. She left her purse there, drove off. Thought, oh my God, I left my, her wallet was stolen. So what do we always think about? Because get a new driver's license, cancel credit cards, all that kind of stuff. The one she didn't think about was her medical card. And the truth is, a lot of criminals have babies, right? I mean, a lot of people now are losing their jobs. They have COBRA. They don't even lose their COBRA, whatever it is. It's very expensive now. And some people really need medical treatment, right? So they'll use yours, mine, somebody else's that they can steal. So she started getting, she thought of everything but her medical card, and she started getting bills for procedures that she never did, she never had. So that's something, and then with the HIPAA laws, that makes it even harder to go into your own records. It's bizarre. So, and I have to share, this is a really like a very extreme case. This is like a one situation where identity can actually cost you your life. And this is very extreme. Hopefully, God forbid, it won't happen to any of us. But one woman, someone did a procedure in her name. They changed the blood type with someone else, and then so the blood type on her account on her file was different. She had a car accident. She went in to get treatment. She got the wrong blood, and she died. Now that's really extreme. That's scary. Hopefully, my purpose is not to scare you, just to show you how this is just rampant, and we're all, and a lot of people say, oh yeah, people can steal my credit. No, that's great. But really, if that's really all that it was, then we wouldn't have any problem. So basically, the reason I'm bringing this up is that, and then you might think, well, as a business owner, what does identity theft have to do with my business? Well, we're business owners, but we're also individuals, right? And we work so hard, whether in our jobs or in our business, or both, to make a living, whatever it is that we're trying to protect our family, trying to feed our family, all that kind of stuff. We could work hard for 20, 30, 50 years, whatever it is, and the identity thief can just steal it, like in 1 minute. But not only that, they can steal it once, but then your identity can be stolen many times. It can be stolen over and over and over again. On the black market, the flea market is like an old-fashioned way. That's one way, but there's on the internet, some people get their identity stolen over and over and over again. So it can be used in so many ways. So basically, the message is to protect yourself. Find something that will protect yourself. If it's only financial identity theft, I would say that's not sufficient. Find something that will, a service that will not just do identity resolution, which means that you get an 800 number and a hit in the mail and they say good luck. Well, who has time to go through all that? Who has time to make all these calls and figure out the right agencies? So we as consumers usually don't have access to it. Find a form of identity theft protection that will protect you and your family, but not just your financial identity, but look for other all the other forms that I was telling you about. And if you can find a company that will do restoration for you, meaning not resolution but restoration, meaning they'll actually have a private investigator that will do it for you. That, in my opinion, is ideal. Because I don't know about you all, I don't have time for anything as it is, let alone spend. They say the average person can spend up to 600 hours trying to restore their own identity. Can you imagine how frustrating that is? I mean, it's even led people to suicide. I mean, I can't, I'm not jumping off a bridge anytime soon, but I can relate. I can imagine what it's like if you're just if you're frustrated, and it can happen, yeah, okay, so this happened to you? Okay.
Not fun.
Okay, it's not fun, right?
I had to call my advice, I had to declare employment, I had to credit card that had my information.
Wow.
They actually called me because congratulations, I'm a new client. I'm like, what the fuck, I don't account.
Someone else, okay.
And I know who did it, and I put a file on my credit card.
Okay.
So far, nothing can happen.
But it could be a nightmare. Yeah, it could be a nightmare. So, and it's funny, Kimberly Rexdale, she couldn't be here tonight. She had another commitment, but she sent me a message saying that her ATM card went shopping without her. So she's been dealing with that too. Now again, that's one of the easier ones to deal with, but still, you want to take it seriously because again, if it happens once, it can happen again and again and again. And if it hasn't, and I have to say, I've been with a company that I have really good identity theft protection, and I have not been a victim yet that I know of. I mean, I did get a letter once from my credit union saying, yeah, sorry, oops, we lost, I don't know what. But the most recent thing that I had a few months ago, my Yahoo account got hacked. Now this happens to a lot of us. And everyone says, oh, just dump your Yahoo account. Well, I've had it for years and I didn't want to dump my Yahoo account. I just have everyone in there. So it's one thing if people were sending emails on my behalf that I was in Paris and I was stranded and I was mugged.
There's someone that went through that on their Yahoo account actually also.
And it's sweet because one of my friends sent me a text saying, I don't have a lot, but I can give you something. And I'm like, well, that's very sweet, but I'm not embarrassed, you know? So anyway, so that happened to be, that's kind of a really kind of a minor thing, but it's kind of a nuisance, right? But it's not like life-threatening or anything. But the thing that really got me, so everyone says, change your password. Okay, I changed my password. They still kept sending out, whoever stole it, kept sending out that I'm here, that I'm there, I don't know what. And the thing that really got my attention, that really bothered me, was one day I went to my email and like my address book was wiped out. My whole freaking address book was wiped out. I was freaking out.
Wow.
So anyway, I used the identity theft protection that I had, and they gave me a backdoor number to Yahoo that you can't find in the phone books or whatever. And I called them, and she said, okay, yeah, you have to change your password, but first you have to do something else. You have to do this. And they told me where to go, and I never would have known. Go somewhere else, wipe this out, now change your password. Great. And then I said, what about my contacts? And she says, let me see what I can do. Like, there was like 30 seconds and the most pregnant pause. I'm like, thank you, Lord. And then she said, okay, click the refresh button and all my contacts came out. Wow. So I was like, oh, such a big relief. But in the scheme of things, right, in the big world, like, okay, so I have my Yahoo account hacked into. I could be so much worse. So anyway, all I just suggest is really protect yourself. We're busy as it is. You want to have your time and energy for the things you love, for your family, for the people you care about, for the business you care about. Who wants to deal with identity theft? So just making sure you have a really good identity theft protection that, you know, it's not gonna prevent people from hacking you, but at least it will protect you when the time is.
Play the video?
Oh yeah, oh sorry.
Right, you better play the damn video.
I forgot. There's a video of again, an extreme case of a gentleman that had an issue with identity theft. Bill brought it for me and I forgot about it. So I just want to show it to you real quick. This is a true situation.
Hi, my name is Bo Carl. I'm going to share my identity theft story with you. There were 300 people that had ended up with my identity. It got sold through a flea market from the kid that actually broke into my car. My identity had been stolen. I discovered it on December 21st, 2006 while coming home from a business meeting. During that process, I was pulled over by someone I actually knew, a local cop at our church, and he said, I'm going to let you go, but let me run your license and I'll be back. And just a little routine, had a tail light out in the car, and nothing big, and he's going to let me fix it. When the officer asked me told me that I had 47 felonies and 82 misdemeanors, I basically asked him, I said, can you allow me one thing? Can you give me one phone call? And he's like, this late at night? If you can get somebody this late at night, I'll pull my chief out of bed and he'll come up here. So I pick up the phone, call and speak to my law firm in the state of Texas. He then proceeded at the same time to call the other law firms from New Mexico, Arizona, California, Oregon, and Washington State. Got them on the phone. They didn't have a problem helping me with my issue. And by that happened, the chief shows up, and he's like, wait a minute, you're on the phone with 6 attorneys, and it's dark. It's 10:30 here. It's got to be at least 8:30 there on the West Coast. I was like, yeah, it's that late, and they're on the phone trying to help me and trying to prove to you guys not to lock me up. So I was allowed to go to the office on Tuesday. They gave me we worked on everything through Christmas. On Tuesday, went into the precinct or whatever, and the chief was there, and he's like, wow, your attorneys work fast. And I was like, I told you it wasn't me, and for once, it really wasn't me. And the attorneys, went to bat for me. Within 2 weeks, they fully restored my identity. The peace of mind that the attorneys helped me through LegalShield was that they were able to establish a number direct to the state district attorney to help me in the future if something were to arise from being a victim of identity theft. I couldn't imagine what I would have done without them. It was just a process. I can't explain it in words. It's all through life you're always you're accused of things. You're now found you're proven guilty before you even get a chance to go to trial. That's how anything works. You're guilty and you have to prove yourself innocent. I was completely helpless, but I knew back in my mind that LegalShield was always there. the value that the chief of police saw from the service. He saw exactly how the attorneys handled themselves in his office, and he said, is this available? Can my officers get this? You can offer this as a benefit to your employees. And it resulted in the entire department getting our service. My wife, through this whole process, she was nervous for a while, but then when she realized what they did and how much they worked for me and how fast they were able to do everything, it was just, it made her a complete believer in what the service is going to do and what it can do, what is possible. And now knowing our identity is protected, not only just my driver's license, but the other areas as well. So.
So thank you, and I'm not, I obviously am really passionate about what I do, but I'm not selling with this. This is really why I do what I do, because it really helps people. But I just encourage everyone, whatever you use, whatever company you use, whatever service you use, find something good that will really protect you. So that's it.
Oh, hang on a second. You mind if I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
So we didn't mention about Got's.
That's what I was just going to say.
You're gonna do. Hey, please welcome back to the stage your chairperson of Tracy, GNA, Clyde, Gorgees. I didn't mention your name, did I?
All right. So, that is very wonderful. I think we should do the announcement, though, that's really going to be exciting. I think it'll just blow up Facebook.
You're being recorded, by the way.
Hate being recorded.
Clyde, we gotta get some exposure, man.
I do. I need to learn how to get more.
You can count on me for that.
Choice, Clyde.
It is. So, if you'd like to come back up here with me, I'd like you to introduce our new Central Valley District Regional Director. Thank you.
Do I say anything in speech?
Would you like to say speech.
Well, I'm really honored that Elias asked me. When he called me a few weeks ago, I was like, what? I was shocked. I really was. I was like, so I'm very honored that Elias, and I hope all of you, everyone's been really supportive and positive. I really was debating whether I should take this on or not, and I thought, why not? What's the heck? No one's going to die. It's not identity theft, right? I really was thinking about it. I thought, well, this is an opportunity for me to make a difference in GNA. I love GNA anyway. I have been a cheerleader from day one. And if I can steer things in a positive way, if I can help make things grow, if I can make a difference in a positive way for all the entrepreneurs, all you guys, and everyone else that's not here, why not? So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to screw up. I'm sure I will, like all of us do. And I think I was talking to Elias too about at the interview that as a leader, yes, you can make a difference. You can have influence, but everything shows up, right? Everything shows up, the good and the bad, right? So that's going to show up, and I feel a little insecure about it. Like, oh, I don't want everyone to see my car, right? But it's about making a difference and making mistakes while I'm making a difference. And as long as I'm stumbling forward and hopefully making a positive impact, that's my goal. And I think, a lot of people think as leadership is like somebody who barks around and gives orders or all this kind of stuff, but that is really not. I look at it as a servant leadership position, meaning I'm here to serve you. You're not here to serve me, I'm here to serve you. So if anything I can do for each of you, and each of you that is not here, but whatever, just GNA as a whole, whether it's here or anywhere else, I mean, so thank you for having confidence in me.
Thank you, Clyde. Thank you very much. I look forward to working with you.